All right, you guys, welcome to a special edition of Two Guys Doing a Podcast. It's your guy Chris here. We got Drecey over there. And in case you haven't noticed, it's not two guys, it is three. We recently put up a video called Kyle Rittenhouse Crying Like a Bitch. And it actually generated a lot of comments, which it traditionally does. A lot of people have feelings about it, a lot of different points of views, and that's fine. We welcome the conversation. And one of the people who commented on the video is right to the left of the screen right now, and that is Logical Checkmate. Please introduce yourself, good sir.
Hey, I guess I'm just a bloke basically on the internet, nothing more. I'm from Czech Republic. I was living quite a long time abroad all around Europe. And when it comes to this case, the Kyle Rittenhouse case, basically what fascinates me on it is that the whole thing is on video, and yet people cannot agree on what actually happened even. Not only that they cannot agree if it's where's the right, where's wrong, but even what happened. And I just, it blows my mind. So that's basically just that.
So when you say that people cannot agree on what happened, you mean essentially what people are seeing with their own eyes. Like, how are we watching the same thing and you're saying this and I can say this? Is that what you're saying?
I know. I don't know, if that's a commentary necessarily on the today's culture where we live, where people are holed up, they kind of are afraid of losing, if you would, basically being wrong.
Right.
Where I'm not afraid of being wrong. Everybody's wrong here and there.
I don't think that me or Dre have ever said he was guilty. I'm not a judge.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not a cop. I'm not a lawyer. The one thing that I've professed throughout my entire time commenting on Kyle Rittenhouse is just that he was wrong. You've seen the video that me and Dre did. So speak to that, speak to the facts, speak to what people are missing when people are commenting on this case.
So first, in my opinion, there's the quite a lot of people say quite a lot that he should not be there in the first place. Yeah, which, right. He's not a police officer, etc., 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 etc. And I must say, I have a bit of a problem with that, where he has different set of values, than you or others, and he feels differently, and he was there. I cannot speak, I cannot say if he was there just to protect businesses, just to, give medical aid. Cannot say. I don't know. But basically, if somebody would be burning town, city, and, 30 minutes, an hour away from my home, I would be there too, with a lot of my countrymen, that's how we feel it, so we don't, at least, I don't see it as wrong as him being there in Kenosha, at that night. I think he was, kind of who will hurt me, who will attack me, because I was giving people, I was helping people, I was bandaging them, whatever, who will attack me. And also, if, somebody attacks me, or, I have a deterrent, in my rifle, again, who will attack me?
Right.
That works well when you're dealing with reasonable people. And I think, I don't know if how much research you did into this, but Mr. Rosenbaum, that was the first shooting victim, he was far from reasonable, in my opinion, because he was mentally unstable. That's according to his fiancée. He was not taking his medication, and he was just released out of a mental hospital, So all those things together, and then you have a mass hysteria. It also, spiraled up.
Paul, I have to ask you, have you? And I hope you haven't. But have you ever been in a situation where you had to, somebody had to call the ambulance for you? They had to come and help you.
No, I was, fortunate in that. Right?
So my question is, when they came to help you, or if you ever seen it, somebody comes to give
definitely.
aid. Those people, do they ever have guns on them?
No, they don't. But also, I will rephrase it a bit. If there's, for example, a protest, the EMS is always accompanied by police. In this situation, the police had clearly orders to stay back to a certain, position.
So, but the EMS, they don't have guns on them, right?
They don't have guns on them.
So I get what you're saying, because, you take pride in your neighborhood and you want to go and help. I totally get that. I might think differently, you know what I mean? But for Kyle, he might feel, okay, I want to go to help. Cool. In case there's somebody that needs help. Why does he bring a gun with him? There's police there.
How the Proud Boys members got stabbed in Washington, what happened there.
Okay.
He didn't have, good enough force multiplier, basically, in that, to defend himself, to keep the people away. The crowd just went over him because they decided it was their decision. That guy will get messed up. In Kyle's situation, because, he had the rifle, he can then basically, the crowd to a degree cannot decide. If a lot of people will say, hey, let's mess that guy up, they cannot do that as easily.
Because he has a weapon on him.
Yes, because he has a weapon. It's a deterrent.
How you feel about the question when people ask, why was he there? Because there's so many differing opinions about why he was actually there. Some say that he was there to protect this dealership that was around there. Some say he was just there because he knew what was going on, and him and his friends wanted to be there to make sure everything went accordingly. According to your research, why was Kyle actually there?
Well, from everything that was so far gathered, because you must keep in mind, there's so many sources, which one you can trust. He was there to basically give aid to people, because I've seen a video. I don't know if it was there on what I sent you. I've seen a video of Kyle where there was a protester and a female being carried by people, and he was like, "Hey, I'm a medic. I'll help you." And then he was, continue to basically scream, "Hey, I'm EMT. If you are injured, come to me." I think I'm even quoting that,
So he was there. He was there, in your opinion, just specifically for medical aid, and that's it, or was there anything else?
No, I don't think so, because there is the information that when the shooting happened in that car dealership, the owner did not basically invite Kyle, didn't hire him, etc. Call it whatever you will. But people are forgetting, because there was in that video I sent you where Kyle was trying to get through police checkpoint, and they sent him back. I would say it like this. I think he was there not really to be on the front line, if you would. I think he was supposed to be behind other guys, and because he got somehow separated, from the group.
Right.
When it hit the fan,
And then, what was it that kind of started everything? Because I'm sure he didn't just show up, and people just started attacking him. So what started an altercation between Kyle and these other people?
Around 20 minutes before, Joseph Rosenbaum and a few other people were pushing a literal dumpster fire. They set, dumpster on fire. They were pushing it into a gas station, which, I mean, come on. It's
right.
The most idiotic thing you can do. The militia, I don't know, let's call them militia. The people, put out the fire, and Kyle was the one who basically fetched the fire extinguisher. So
he was with the militia, this group that you call the militia.
Let's call them a militia, because media, whatever.
Okay,
I'll go with that.
And then Mr. Rosenbaum had some kind of an issue with one of the members that was very similarly dressed as Kyle. He had similarly, I believe, khaki, a shirt. He had a baseball cap, on his, and he had AR-15. He was a bit taller, but yeah. And he had, I don't know, for some reason I think he was accusing him of pointing the gun at him. Which, okay, fair game. And he was very angered, enraged, literally. And there was kind of shoot me N-word, like and stuff like that.
Who was saying this? Who was saying this? Shoot me N-word?
Rosenbaum.
Okay.
That was the first guy that got shot. And basically then, you haven't seen this video, but I hope you will, believe me. I have that video. I can send it to you later on. I stumbled upon basically Mr. Rosenbaum saying, I say we jump them or check them and take their guns. And then they lit the dumpster fire again, and they were marching, in other direction. And this is, fairly new. I think Washington Post made a video on this. They put all the clips together. I haven't seen it anywhere else. At a certain point, there was a call, on police that people are setting fires to cars, and then
right.
Kyle was seen carrying extinguisher and running in that direction, where people were apparently setting fires to cars. And then, basically a group of people converged on Kyle's position, they from multiple angles, and Kyle took off running. One of the people were 100% armed. He was also charged. That's Mr. Zominski. On the video that I've seen, because it's poor quality, it wasn't in the focus, etc. I cannot say this 100%, but I think he was walking towards Kyle with his arm extended, like he's holding his pistol pointing at Kyle, and somebody at that moment yelled, "Gun, gun, gun." I don't think that was on Kyle's gun, because he was carrying it, openly the whole time. You cannot, it's not a new thing. And Kyle takes off running, and Mr. Rosenbaum, now with T-shirt, instead of having the T-shirt on himself, he took it off and wrapped his face in it to potentially conceal his identity. Kyle takes off running. He, at one point, looks, over his shoulder. Mr. Rosenbaum is on his heels. He continues to run. Then Mr. Zominski fires a single shot into the air. That was, directly behind Kyle. Plus the distance, of a parking lot. But that was where from Kyle was running away. And Kyle turns around. There's Mr. Rosenbaum that literally lunges for his weapon, tries to take it away. And Kyle fires 4 shots, mortally wounding Mr. Rosenbaum. And A, this is all on video, and B, this is all the witness, Mr. McGuinness, a reporter that was recording it, that was right behind Mr. Rosenbaum and almost got hit by Kyle's bullet. He also said it precisely like that.
So,
okay. Self-defense.
What you're saying is self-defense. But if self-defense, wouldn't self-defense be like, I'm shooting at you, I'm trying to hurt you, I'm trying to kill you, versus me shooting in the air? Wouldn't that be considered a warning shot?
Well,
so if I am doing a warning shot, how is that considered self-defense?
Well, the shot, basically, let's say, gives Kyle a right, if you would, to turn around at that moment. Because he doesn't. First of all, you don't know if the person shooting at you, if you have your back to him, you know what I mean? You don't know if they're shooting at you or not. Because a lot of people are saying Mr. Rosenbaum was unarmed, Kyle was armed. How is that, in any shape or form self-defense? Because, he could not hurt him.
Well, yeah. He's not matching force if he's unarmed. And the other thing too, and I have to ask you, Paul, yeah. and Dre, I have to ask you too, and then you could continue on. But I have to straight up, if you're running, right, because somebody is chasing you, mm-hmm. and then you hear a gunshot, you don't know if they shot in the air, if they're shooting at you. What? You just hear it. Are you? Sure. I will add. Are you stopping to turn around, or are you running faster and trying to get behind shit? I will answer that question first. I am running faster and trying to get behind shit. I'm not turning around to be like, who did that?
Two things with that. First of all, you're saying that now sitting here, not while somebody's chasing you, you have adrenaline pumping through your blood, you're not thinking clearly. That's first, The other thing is, basically Mr. Rosenbaum was gaining on Kyle. He was chasing him down. And you cannot forget, like Kyle was probably out of breath because, like he ran with the fire extinguisher. I don't know how much it was, like if it was 500 yards or something.
You know this is speculation, right? You don't know if he was out of breath.
Sure. But, like it's safe to presume because, again, he was running quite a distance with a heavy fire extinguisher. And don't forget, he's not particularly athletic.
So you're saying that it's justified pretty much that Kyle felt that his life was threatened enough by this guy who was running him down.
Literally, yeah.
That he felt that it was necessary to fire his gun.
Give me a second. I actually have a prop for this.
Okay. Without seeing a gun on Rosenbaum. Right.
Nice.
Without seeing a gun on.
Yeah, let's confuse the YouTube algorithm a bit then. So basically, if Rosenbaum was reaching for the gun, like he was taking it away. So basically, if Mr. Rosenbaum, once you control the battle, once you get it past you, there's nothing you can do. You will not push, like with the gun, you cannot, because, like how is it hold?
Yeah, exactly. No, I got you. Yeah.
To a certain level, so at that moment, this is completely useless.
Right.
That's done. And now he's past that, and he's stronger. Now there's three dangers when it comes to this, like the first and most obvious one is Mr. Rosenbaum takes the gun away, he shoots Kyle, and he can shoot other people. I mean, again, the guy was mentally unstable.
Right. Okay.
Right. You cannot let somebody who attacks you to take away your weapon. It's just because they can use it on you and on your loved ones, on your friends, other people. You are then responsible for that.
Right. Now,
the second thing, that is when it comes to being, the danger of, let's say, having an unarmed attacker against you. Let's say you get knocked out, right? You get punched and you fall. Happens all the time. You collapse to the concrete, to the pavement, etc. You crack your head, you crack your skull, you bleed, inside of your skull, you die. Yeah, and three is, let's say you get either knocked out or beaten into submission, where you are on the ground, trying just to cover your head, whatever. Who says that person will stop? I'm sorry, but you cannot if somebody attacks you, you cannot let yourself be put into the situation because at that moment you have no control.
Not a lawyer. I'm not a judge.
Sure.
That's what the courts are for. And I feel like all your research, which I appreciate, you sent over a lot of content. I will say a lot of the stuff that I read and seen, I didn't know at all. At all. Period.
Yeah.
And I'm a logical person, and I have to be honest with you. If I felt so take me out of this situation. I'm not in Kyle's shoes. I wasn't there. This is a totally different situation. And I have a weapon on me. And I feel like my life is in danger. Mm-hmm. I'm probably going to shoot you. You know what I mean? If I feel like I can't snuff you, I can't handle you, I'm probably going to shoot you. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. But so a lot of the content you sent made me kind of lean more towards, or not lean more towards, but kind of realize that, hey, I probably would do the same thing. But I'm not trying to prove whether or not he's innocent or guilty, because like I said, I would do the same thing. All I was trying to say is, why did he go in the first place? Kyle didn't have to bring a weapon there. He chose to bring a weapon there, and he chose to go there. Nobody made him do any of these things. Why would I go somewhere where I need to bring a gun? Please explain that to me.
I will turn in the question. What would basically motivate you enough? What would have to be the situation in order for you to go somewhere and either guard a shop, neighborhood, whatever, be in a similar situation? If that would be a protest, or a riot, etc. What would have to be, the stake, let's say?
Nothing.
None
You know
whatsoever.
why? You know why? Because it's brick and mortar. It's a store. It's brick and mortar. I'm thinking that even if it was my property and my business, I'm probably going to have it insured.
As far as I know, all cell phones currently have cameras on them that can be used as well. And as I said in one of our videos, the best bullet that any gun has is coming from a camera phone. You catch somebody doing something illegal, or somebody harming somebody, or somebody injured, or any of those things, and you catch it on film, you have it. You have determinate evidence. We don't have to speculate and sit here and talk about assumptions.
100%. 100%. Let's say you're breaking a car, and you see this. What do?
I'm turning around.
Yeah, but you can. I already have you on the camera, whatever. There is a quite strong possibility you will come to me.
There's two things that can happen. Well, there's two things that can happen in that case. Somebody's going to run away. Exactly. Somebody's going to run away, or you might have that person who's aggressive. So let's speak to the temperament of the people that were there, because that's what I want to touch on. Okay, we have to touch on what we're forgetting about, because you mentioned it a lot of times. Rosenbaum was mentally disturbed. Okay, so let me compare this to another situation for you and tell you if this makes sense to you. Okay. So, have you heard about the Capitol riots?
Sure.
So you know about the temperament and the mood of the people that were there, or you can assume just based on what happened, what type of mood they were in, right?
Yeah.
Let's say, for example, now I was in Kyle's position, and there was an area that I felt needed to be protected from these people who were rioting at these Capitol riots. So now what they're doing is they're setting fires, they're doing all these things inside the building. I take it upon myself to go inside with a gun. Don't forget, I have my gun on me now. I go inside with a gun, and these people who believe in something, who are there for a purpose and are very emotional and very strong about that purpose, I am now there, and I am trying to disturb or do the opposite of what they're trying to achieve. So they make a fire, I'm there trying to out the fire. They're there trying to get into different rooms, maybe, and I'm there trying to block them from different rooms. Am I putting myself in a situation that you feel is safe for me when I do something like that? Do you feel that I'm putting myself in a situation that any logical person in their right mind would put themselves in, knowing that they're not trained?
Yeah.
Hold on, and then one more thing, even worse. Let's say I'm a 17-year-old. Do you think that's a spot where a 17-year-old should be?
I get you. The issue is that, as you said, you can call cops. Sure, you can dial 911. That was not the case there.
Right.
As we've seen, police literally, were saying, okay, we're staying here. We're not going any further. And people were calling onto the police, nothing. They didn't move. They said, hey, people are starting the fires. Police didn't move. If the cops are not coming, who will stop, those people, from, let's say, burning, down, your livelihood? Who will stop them, from your home? And, I'm sorry, if you come, to my house, try to burn it down, I'll fucking shoot you dead. I'm
Agreed.
Sorry.
I agree with that.
That is happening.
I agree with that. Yeah, you're probably not going to make it past the doorstep. But to your point, Paul, if they came to my home, I'm not going to the fight. But yeah,
sure.
Go ahead.
Now, there's the thing, I don't know, you guys said, you're a Canucks, right?
You're from Canada.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
I like that. I like that one.
Yeah. But, it kind of goes with Canada, too. One thing that basically United States and Canada have, let's say, big disadvantage is that you don't have common nationality. You are in
a lot of diversity.
Yeah, definitely. Czech Republic in Europe, France. Czechs lives in Czech Republic. French people live in France. We see ourselves basically not as one, all as extended family, if you would.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I cannot speak to Kyle. I don't see into his head, but I would be in the same spot as he was if that would be what was happening, because I would see. First of all, he was working in that city in Kenosha, and second, he had friends. Actually, the guy that, because he was too young to buy the gun, the guy that bought it for him was his friend, and he was living there.
And he got charged as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. which, whatever, I don't care.
For giving a gun to a mic, right.
Yeah, whatever. And so I would go there too, basically what I'm saying. I don't know how to explain that.
What mind frame do you have to be in? Like, I want you to really think about the Capitol riots and what was going on there. And then you definitely have to compare that to what happened in Kenosha, because it's the same environment. It's the same type of people with the same type of attitude. And the attitude is simply destruction and violence.
Here in Europe, like that came up wrong, because we are now talking about Kyle. Like in Europe, like if something like that would happen here, we are not that much, like the gun culture in the United States, like is completely mental, like for us. Just like why in Czech Republic we can have anything that goes boom legally. Like we can have a license for it. Far stricter, like to get it than in the United States. But like you can have it.
Anything that goes boom.
Yeah, basically.
We in Canada, we have a place called Kaboom, and they sell fireworks. They sell fireworks, and that's it. So that's a comparison.
Anything that goes boom, that you could put that on a T-shirt. But anyways, go ahead.
Definitely. It wouldn't like happen like that. That people would organize. They would be like, "Hey, guys, like here's whoever, some like riot protesters who are messing up our city, our town, village, whatever." And like people would be like, "Oh, no, we cannot have that." If the police would be held back, if it would be, and there would be a counter movement, and those people would be actually more aggressive. That would be actually fighting street fights, like people would come, like and be like, "No, you cannot do that." They would be setting a fire. Okay, no, they would try to restrain that person, like and basically send them away. Then a clash would happen. That's how it would go. And I must say, I see that as completely acceptable. Because, look, you are burning, like a city. I'm like, I don't want you to burn the city. I'm going to move you away. And if there's violence in that, that's kind of your choice, because I'm telling you, I'm standing there. Don't do that.
Look, Paul,
I know why he's clapping.
Look at that. You know why I'm clapping? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I'm clapping. Because, look, I agree with you. If you have pride in where you live, in your country, in your neighborhood, or in your city, whatever it is, and people are coming there to mess up your city, and you have like-minded people, and the police aren't doing anything, defend your city, defend your town, defend your neighborhood. But to your point, what comes with that is a clash. Violence will come with that. So if you're thinking like this, I'm not going to let you mess up my city, you have to know when you go there, there is a possibility of violence. You have to know if you are thinking like this and you are bringing a gun with you, you have to know there is the possibility you might use that gun because you are clashing with people. So I say all that to say this. The video that we made, which brought us together for this conversation, thank you, by the way, where I was saying Kyle was crying like a bitch. If Kyle knew all these things, why was he crying like a bitch? You knew this was a possibility going in. So his reaction was just surprising. Like, how could you be so shocked that you were arrested? You knew that this was a possibility. You knew by going there and bringing a gun, you might use that gun. You knew even if you didn't bring a gun, you might get shot. To Dre's point, you know the type of people that are down there. You knew you might get pummeled to death. This was all information that you had prior to going. So why did you go? And then if you went and then you got arrested, why are you crying like that? It was possible. I'm not trying to say he's innocent or guilty because, again, after looking at everything you said, sent, and even what you're saying today, and then just kind of putting myself, I'm defending myself. I'm not trying to make that case. I'm just trying to say you knew what you were getting yourself into. That's really all I'm trying to say.
Basically, like as you said, why did he go there? The pride of the neighborhood, whatever. But as I said before, I don't think he was supposed to be on, let's say, front lines. In air quotes here. He was supposed to be back. He was the run boy. He was literally fetching the fire extinguisher and like that. And he got separated then. And he found himself, alone. So when it comes to the danger, of that situation, he was fairly safe if the plan would go as it was, I guess, supposed to do. Because he was not supposed to be on the front line. He was supposed to be behind a lot of guys with guns. That's a pretty safe spot, if you ask me.
We're all grown, so obviously it's harder for us to think the way or remember what it's like to think like a 17.
I was stupid when I was 17.
We have to account for that, right? So it's totally possible that he was down there and in the chaos while this fire was being set, somebody just screamed to him, "We need a fire extinguisher," and he just reacted and got the fire extinguisher, and that put him in harm's way, and he did it unintentionally. Boom. Let's go with that example, because that is definitely a possibility, right? Mm-hmm. It still doesn't explain the one question that we have always had, and that is, before even this occurring, this event, you having all of this knowledge and you still choosing to go, to me, it has no choice but to tell me that you were planning or at least preparing to be involved in some kind of violence. It's an armed protest, first of all. The protest was for Jacob Blake, so it's about police brutality. There was a lot of racism involved, and Kyle is a white boy. So these are all things that anybody would have known before even going. And as much as I want to claim young ignorance for his actions while he was there, I cannot logically give him the pass for before this thing even happened. And him on top of all of this saying, "I'm going to bring a gun," especially when you said that his intention was to be a medic. Well, that was the assumption. That was the assumption. That was the assumption.
Fair.
That was the assumption, right? Let me not put words in your mouth. You did say that was an assumption, but let's go with your assumption.
Sure.
That he was there to be a medic. All those things, knowing that well before you even go there, and then deciding to bring a gun, you have to explain to me how that doesn't mean I'm preparing for violence. Like I understand that there's going to be violence there. The gun's not a deterrent. The gun's not a deterrent at that point, because you're not deterring from anything. You're bringing it with you.
You definitely right there, because as I said, there was I think, Kyle's naivety, played a role, because a gun is a great deterrent when you're dealing with reasonable people. But, the gun, is kind of like a fire extinguisher. You have it, you have a fire extinguisher at home just in case there's a fire. The same way you would carry a gun just in case you would get attacked. And, wait, what was the other? Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
It's a great point.
It's a good point.
And the deterrent, as I said, I think he was honestly naive that he was okay to basically walk alone, because he grabbed the fire extinguisher and ran away on his own.
Right.
I'm sorry, I cannot say that's not, to say the least, unwise decision. It's a stupid decision. You know what I mean? If you're there, even if you have a gun, you need to be in a group. You need to have somebody watching your back, And so I think he was naive in that he was dealing only with reasonable people.
Okay, all right. That's logical to think, especially somebody 17. He probably just assumed that this will stop people from trying to hurt me, as opposed to I'm bringing it to hurt people. So that's a really good answer. Seriously.
And the naivety could also explain. You could say why he was there in the first place. He was maybe. That's another level of.
Sure. Like I want to give him the pass on that one as well, as far as him being young and being just young and stupid. But come on, think about the things that I just said to you.
Yeah, I get you.
Especially the fact that it was a protest for Jacob Blake. I think that has to be the main thing. It was a protest for Jacob Blake, white cops against black people, and then you're a white person trying to go there and stop things that are happening. It's just, come on. It's just, that doesn't make sense.
Just, as far as I know from the research, from the videos, the two groups, the militia and the Reiter/protesters, they were completely fine with each other up until the point they extinguished the fire, the dumpster that was pushed into the gas station. And I'm sorry, I don't care if that was, what was the protest/riot about, even if it would be to cure cancer the moment you're pushing a fucking, dumpster fire into a gas station. No, I'm stopping. Even if there's 5-10 people and I need to shoot all of you, I'm stopping you because I don't know if you've ever seen, a gas station, explode.
You don't even have to explain it.
No, you actually do to some people, I kid you not. They were just pushing a dumpster fire into a gas station.
I'm not saying what he was.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I'm not saying what he was doing was wrong.
You need to ask yourself, at any point, did Kyle do something that stripped him of his right to live? If
yes, him
going
and attending that thing, knowing the things that he knew, stripped him of his right to defend himself because he put himself in a dangerous situation. I cannot walk into a situation that I know is dangerous, be harmed, and then play victim and say, "Oh my God, I didn't expect this to happen," even though everybody in the place.
Wait, hold on. Dre, you might be trying to try the case right now. I'm not. Right. Hold on for a second.
The guilty versus.
I'm not saying that because
that's not what
all I'm saying is he should have never went in the first place. Now let me play devil's advocate and let me really just come out and say this. And I think I said it once already, but maybe I didn't say it direct enough. If I was dumb enough to go to this thing, so I'm Kyle now, and I'm dumb enough to go to this thing because that's what he did. He was dumb enough to go, and then I'm in that exact same situation where I believe my life is in danger. I'm gonna shoot somebody. I'll say it. I'm gonna shoot someone. If I was dumb enough to go and my life was in danger, I am gonna shoot someone. And the reason why the reason why I'm gonna do that is because I would rather go to jail alive and breathing and possibly get out at some point than be dead. I'm not saying, so again, not trying the case. I'm just saying he should have never went. He should have never put himself in that situation. If it was me, I would not go. I'd be like, damn, this is messed up. I guess I ain't going to work next week because I ain't gonna have a workplace to go to. I'm not going.
That's where we probably will disagree because, as I said, my opinion, this is, just
of course.
As I see it, if I would be living half an hour away, I would have been dead too. And that's, how I feel it, think it. That's my set of priorities. That's my conviction, whatever.
Fight for your neighborhood.
Could be, yeah, sure, whatever. That's, how I am, and you are different. Now, I don't feel that's wrong, what I feel. You know what I mean? That doesn't make it bad. It doesn't make me a bad person.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so that's how I see it. Cannot speak for Kyle, of course. Yeah, but that's how I see it.
But I think that's the disconnect. I think that's the main disconnect.
Yeah,
and is that mentality that we don't have. We don't have that mentality that it's our job. It's our job to protect our neighborhoods because me personally, I know that there's cops. I know that there's soldiers, people who are paid and trained to do these things.
Oh, also, our neighborhood doesn't protect us. So there's that too. But Paul, the one other thing I want to say is, you and people like you are 100%. I commend people like you. You know what I mean? Stand up for what you believe in, willing to lay it all down for your neighborhood, to lay it down for what you. I commend people like you. But the difference is if you were Kyle and you were in that video being pressed by the cops, you wouldn't be in tears. I don't care if you were 16 or 14, because talking to you and hearing you speak, you are ready to go and lay it all down for your community. So when you get in front of the cops, you're like, and what? You guys didn't do anything. I had to do what I had to do. That was not his energy. He knew he was not supposed to be there. That's all I'm saying.
I think 4 a.m, he, just was, through some quite stressful situation, like everything like that. He was I don't know if you've seen the whole interrogation, like it basically goes for hours, like the video, and they are interrogating / talking with him only for a few minutes, so you need to skip through a lot of, like empty space, if you would.
Mm-hmm.
And, like he was, okay, I'm doing this, I want to talk. He was fairly well composed, if you would. And then they told him, okay, we will be probably charging you with manslaughter, be it a murder and stuff, and you are potentially looking at spending the rest of your life in prison. And kind of that moment, like his mom, like broke down, which, moms are like that.
Naturally.
Yeah, and then, like after I think, like another 30 minutes, like when he was then trying to basically calm her down and stuff like that, he then broke down, which, again, that's at that point, I think it's 5 or 6 in the morning, which, like, again, no sleep, going in that, young kid, like just, like basically killed people. It's probably playing in his mind,
Right.
Yeah, and he was just told this is like very important because there's doubt. I think he was believing 100% that it was rightful self-defense. Yeah, and then the cops told him, yeah, we were probably charging you, like with a murder, some kind of a manslaughter. And then a doubt crept into his mind. And when you combine all of that, like he broke, and I cannot, like that much blame him for it, if you would.
I mean, I will have to, listening to that explanation and kind of piecing that together, if I get that news, as proud as I'm feeling, but then I'm watching my mom break down, because I might be about it, and I might be okay with the time, but my mom isn't naturally okay with that. She ain't going to see me for a minute. She breaks down, I'm probably going to cry a bit too. I get that. The other thing too, this interview was done prior to him, out drinking and whatnot with the Proud Boys. Yes, maybe I went about this the wrong way, because if the video that we played was edited the way it was edited, and his mom was breaking down for 30 minutes, and then eventually he starts crying because his mom is crying, I would do that. But then furthermore, he's out later on partying and jamming. Like, how upset could he be? Because when he's out partying and not caring, that's the mind state that I would have if I was ready to lay down for my neighbor. And I'd be like, I don't care. I'm ready to do the time.
Don't forget, like he didn't know at that point what happened. He didn't see, like when he broke down, he didn't see the videos because, like, he has only his point of view perspective of the events, So I guess, like he was doubting, did I do the right thing? Didn't I, you know what I mean? He does.
That's
he
another good point.
He cannot play it back in his head, like we can on YouTube, like just press, like an arrow back, and we can play it again. Which multiple times. Yeah, so that's a solid point.
That's a solid point. Yeah. At the time, he could have thought that he was doing the right thing, and then listening to it play back, watching the rerun, after he watched the playback, the rewind, he's like, "Oh, I must have fell asleep during this part of the movie. I must have missed this part of the movie. Oh, this part is sad."
Listen, man. I do want to bring this to a close. I thought this was great. Yeah. I want to be able to ask you a question, Paul.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm sure Dre will probably at least want to ask you one question, and then you be able to ask either each of us a question or the one question of both of us. Okay? And then we could kind of wrap it up.
Yeah.
Paul, you've answered this. Actually, you've kind of peppered the answer throughout our entire conversation. But I'm going to ask it anyways, just for the record, just so it's very clear to everyone. Okay? You're Kyle Rittenhouse. It's the exact same situation. It played out how it played out. But you are Kyle, and you are in your room, and you're thinking of going. Do you go, or do you just lay in bed and watch some TV? No long answers, because we all know how it played out.
Sure, I'll go.
Do you go?
Yeah, he did.
You go.
That.
Okay,
I'll
cool.
go.
Okay, you go. All right.
And as Dre said, that's a disconnect between people. Like they have different mindset, different priorities.
Fair. Dre, you have a question for Paul?
No, I don't. Honestly, I don't. Everything that I wanted to ask him, I asked. So yeah, does he have any questions? You have any questions for us? Though?
Yeah, I actually have the. You've seen in like a mine video. Did you see it whole?
Yeah.
Like, basically.
Yeah.
You noticed there was a blatant media manipulation, right? I pointed it out on the ABC News.
Yeah.
They edited out the first shot because they talked over it, and then like when Kyle fell to the ground and got his face like kicked in, and then the skateboard, they cut it out too.
Right.
And so, in my opinion, as I said, that's a blatant manipulation of people. That's literally stripping of your free will, and that's very dangerous. Like if you could just. What do you basically think about that?
Paul, clearly, you don't watch a lot of our content because you're speaking Dre's language right now. But I will answer you. I will answer the question. I think the way the media did Kyle was dirty. I think it was disgusting. So I do think the media should be transparent with the information that they're giving with this and everything else. Let the people make up their own mind. So I agree with that. I think the media effed up on that 100%. But this was awesome, man. And I really thank you for your point of view and your diligence and all your research, because I'm telling you, I am open to admit it. Like, I was really one-sided on how I was viewing this. I will never publicly say whether he did it or not, but in my mind, I have my own feelings, and I will say that I've kind of shifted how I thought a little bit after looking at some of the content that you sent over to us. So again, thank you for that, and thank you for sharing your point of view as well. I also just want to say one other thing. I said it once, I want to say it again because I want to be clear. The video that caused this conversation, yes, I was very aggressive with my language, and I take that back. I apologize. I highly doubt anyone he knows or his family's seen the content, but just in case they did, I'm sorry. I certainly shouldn't call a 17-year-old a bitch. There's many other ways that I can describe him without being so vulgar, so I definitely apologize for that. Dre, if you want to say a little piece on there.
Yeah, I just wanted to say this is crazy. Like we're three guys who just started doing our own thing on YouTube, and now we are across borders talking to each other about a topic that is really trending and going on. Just think about how crazy that is, guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. So once again, I want to double down on Chris's thank you to you for just coming through and allowing us to, most importantly, have. I guess it fits with your YouTube page. A logical adult conversation about this topic, and not just because you made a mention to it very early on in the video about how people can be in the comments and just how people respond with just negativity and don't really delve into any conversation. So hopefully this video will encourage more conversation. Our videos have, but more importantly, thank you to you, man.
Yeah. It's just like two things. Thanks for this. It was great, I had fun. Even if, just a few people see that, I had fun just, talking to you, I must say. And I just want to point out, the reason, I look like a fucking sasquatch is because, we have a strict lockdown, strict corona lockdown, so that means no barbers for over 2 months. So,
I thought it was just a look. Got it. Yeah, man. Thank you guys so much for doing this. Thank you, man. Seriously. And we're going to put a link to all the content in the description. Dre, don't say nothing. I'm going to do it this time. And we'll also put a link to his page as well. Subscribe, man. He's got some awesome content on his page as well. If you guys have made it this far, please comment. Like, follow, that's all good, but comment. Keep the conversation going. We don't delete comments, okay? We don't delete comments ever. If your comment does not get posted, I don't know what to tell you. A lot of the times, people even post comments supporting us, and they don't show up. I don't know why.
If I may, that's probably some YouTube autobot happened a few times, with my comments too on YouTube. When I put some, let's say, trigger words, comment disappeared automatically.
Bro,
no, but it was a really good comment, man. It made us look really good.
I think I saved it.
Nobody in the world will get to see it. You don't get it.
Yeah. So I would like to thank everybody who's watching this, and to remember to keep your mind open, not only on this case, but going forward. Do your own research. Don't believe the big media and their narrative that they're trying to push. That's basically it.
All right. Deuces. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy the rest of your night. It's nighttime over there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. All right, man. We out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching that video. Don't forget to like and comment. We finally hit our goal of 100 subscribers.
No, we're not done yet, though, Chris, man. We're trying to get to 200 subscribers, okay? So check out these videos over here, and make sure you press this button, man. Thank you for the 100. Let's get to 2.
Doses.